Mm-mm-mm. Okay, now it should be working. Maybe. I guess we'll wait and see. All right, so this might be spontaneous. I don't even know if anyone can even see me or hear me. It's been about a year since I've done a stream. Usually for my podcasts, I've just been filming them separately and then rendering them later and then putting them up. But I decided to do something a little special because it is Star Wars Day tomorrow. I would do the Q&A podcast on a live stream. So if you guys can see me, some people can see me. Cool. Looks like the live stream's working. Like I said, it's been about a year since I streamed last, and they changed the entire YouTube streaming thing. So I gotta figure this stuff out again. So apologize if this looks can you guys hear me, by the way? I don't even know. I have no idea. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. A lot of guys are here, but I'm just trying to figure out if you guys can hear me. I don't know if you guys. I don't know. I'm waiting. Oh yeah, they can. Okay, cool. So you guys can hear me. Good. Awesome. May the fourth be with you guys. It's a day early, but I figured I would just kind of do this anyway. So what I was explaining was it's been about a year since I've done a stream. So YouTube has completely changed how they do the streaming process. So I don't know what I'm doing right now. It's gonna be a little bit of a learning process. I'd like to bring back like the weekly streams like I used to do. I don't know, maybe every Sunday or something like that around this time. But yeah, so it's gonna be a Q&A. The reason why I pretty much wanted to do this was as I made a podcast. Usually I do like a weekly podcast, but I forgot to do that a couple weeks ago. So usually I record it, then I will actually edit it, and I won't edit it mostly. Make it look pretty. Use 4K. Use my nice juicy camera here. Use that bad boy, and it'll be nice, pretty, good looking, and then I will upload it, and then that's that. But I decided to do something different. We're gonna do a live stream, so I'll be going back and forth between the questions I already have and the chat as well. So feel free to leave some questions in the chat, guys. I'm just going to be going into the old questions that I received, and this was about a couple weeks ago. Like I said, I wanted to do this video a while ago, and I had forgotten about it. So let's just see if I can find it quick. And I'd have like a video or something play in the background. I might play like a game usually on live stream, but like I said, they changed this whole streaming process up, so I don't know how to even play a game in the live stream yet. But I'll figure it out. We'll be good. It's gonna take a little bit though. Maybe I should have found this before I went streaming. It's not this far back. No, it can't be this far back. Okay, my wife and daughter just came inside, so if you hear a baby yelling, that's her. I'll close the doors soon. Where are you? Well, while I'm looking for this, I can answer some questions in chat. Let's see what we got. Hello there, AK Master. Hey, I remember AK Master. I haven't seen you for a while, buddy. You used to be on my streams all the time. Actually, a lot of you guys I'm noticing used to be on my streams a lot back when I streamed a lot. Is Order 66 failed coming back? Okay, guys. This is a big question. Is Order 66 trailer coming back? Is it coming back? Well, let me show you something real quick, boys. Okay, this is the wrong notebook, but it's supposed to look like this. This is what I was supposed to do. It's supposed to look like this. Ready? I was supposed to go like this. Is it coming back? You tell me, right? But of course, it was supposed to say Chapter 7 and then have words. So, you know what that means? That means it's coming back. Yep, chapter 7 is done. Chapter 7 is done. It's coming out. It's gonna. I still got to do the editing process, of course. About probably like 2 weeks or so. I was gonna wait till tomorrow to kind of announce it because of it's being Star Wars Day. But since you guys are here in the live stream, taking time out of your busy schedule, I'm sure, to come and hang out with me, it's coming back. So I've said it's coming back for a while, but I didn't really know where to go with the story after how I ended it, and now I know. So that's that. Yeah. Man, where did I put that? Okay, next question. We're gonna keep going in the chat for now. I might actually just make this a chat. I just make this a chat Q&A because I cannot find this. I cannot find it. Where is it? It wasn't that long ago. Oh wait, this might be it. No, that was my April Fool's joke. I got a lot of people with that. Oh man, I got so many people. Okay. When will you release episode 10, 11, 12? Oh, that's right. I forgot I was gonna do that video too. Man, I always forget stuff. Well, I actually have episode 10. I have that written. I could actually work on that too. Maybe I'll produce that in tangent with Tandem. My gosh, my brain is just not working today. I'll do that at the same time. So like I'll do like chapter 7 of Order 66, and then I might do like episode 10 of how I would write episode 10. I think it's pretty interesting. Something big actually happens in my episode 10 that's gonna be really controversial. But I think people are going to like it because it's going to be so different, but also still be samey. I don't know how to. You guys will know once I actually release that video. Okay, I'm still looking for this. Let's keep going some chat questions until I find this. Where could it have gone? Like, how long ago was this? It wasn't that long ago. It wasn't 2 months ago, was it? It might have been 2 months ago though.
Hey, Mike, you come down here.
I'm actually streaming right now, so I'll be down in about an hour or so.
Well, I was gonna ask what.
Okay, I'm back. So, okay, I found it. But I'll do one more question from the chat, and then I'm gonna jump back and forth. And I think this should be pretty interesting to do it this way. All right, so AK Master, what's the worst movie you have ever seen? The worst I've ever seen, Cat in the Hat, 2003. Okay, let's see. There's a lot. So there's a difference between like worst movies and movies that are just like bad, but you can still find some type of enjoyment in. One movie I absolutely hated when it first came out was Grown Ups 2. I remember going to the theater. It was a raining that day. It was flooding. We had to take like 3 different roads to get to the theater, right? And I was so excited to see the second one because the first one was really good. And then the second one was pretty much a movie about nothing. And I remember that really bothered me. I look back on it now, and it's fine. You know, same with like High School Musical movies. You know what I mean? I look on High School Musical and I think to myself like, oh, those movies, they're so stupid. I hate them. I hate High School Musical. But now I look back on them more fondly because they remind me of my past and, you know, like different things that happened in life, you know. And so I don't really hate them anymore. And I kind of enjoy to watch them. Like the other day, my wife was doing her Disney Plus binges and she was watching Camp Rock. I hated Camp Rock. I hated Camp Rock more than I hated High School Musical. And it was fun just to sit back and watch because it reminded me of places in the past or things in the past. And so that's one of those things where it's just like interesting. So I'll come back to the chat. There's a lot of guys asking questions. Let's just do my first question here. Okay, so why do you think would have been Leia's destiny if Carrie hadn't passed away? Okay, so if Carrie Fisher hadn't passed away, what would have been her storyline after that, of course? Like, because there is that point where like you can tell that Carrie Fisher passed away. You know what I mean? You can tell that she was. They filmed like maybe like 1 or 2 scenes, and they just kind of like repurposed old scenes, and you can tell that in the Rise of Skywalker. I think she would have had more of a prominent role as far as like helping in the end. I don't really know. It's tough. That is a tough question. I'd like to see her doing more things. You know, maybe even like we see in the flashback that she was force sensitive, but she gave that up to raise Ben and tried to make sure he doesn't turn to the dark side. But that doesn't work. You know what I mean? So I think it'd be cool to actually see her maybe even go toe to toe with her own son. Maybe that's what Rey and Kylo are fighting, and Rey gets knocked over, and Kylo goes to finish her off, and then Leia would just show up with her own lightsaber and be blocking Kylo and be like, "No, this is over," Or even maybe Kylo would strike his mother down and then be like, "No, what have I done?" And then that would be his turning point. I don't know. There's a lot of elements you could probably go with, but I definitely think Leia would have had more. There would have been something bigger with it. You know what I mean? Something bigger would have happened with the character, and instead of just what we got. I mean, I don't really mind what we got, but they made do with what they had considering this situation. So that's the way it is. Okay, let's go to chat. Hey, Kendall, stop spamming, bro. I'll come after you, bro. I'll do it. That's right. Better back off. All right. So yeah, I can't see questions, boy, because you keep spamming. Okay. I saw a Darth Vader scene in. Oh, this is from Julius. He says, "I saw a Darth Vader scene in the last episode of Clone Wars. You think that's gonna happen?" We will get a hint to Clone. We will get a hint to Vader. I don't think Ahsoka and Vader are gonna cross paths. I do think like maybe Ahsoka's gonna be flying off on a ship, and then Vader's gonna be like maybe censor, but then be like, no, it was nothing. Like we kind of got that hint in the previous episodes. If you remember when Ahsoka leaves off-world and Anakin senses her, I think we're gonna get like the same mirroring of that, except for Anakin. I think at that point he knew Ahsoka was on there, but like this time it's going to be more of like he feels her, but he can't confirm or not. You know what I mean? And he highly doubts it. Like he might even find out she died, and that's going to be like it's going to be interesting. I think that's one thing that people are expecting. They're expecting to see more Anakin on this last episode of Clone Wars, but I don't think we're going to get him. If we do, it's going to be Vader. It's going to be like a 5-second shot of Vader like bowing to the Emperor or something like that, and that's going to be where that links into that. It's going to be interesting to see how. If you guys saw my review on the last episode, I think that Rex, Ahsoka, and Maul are going to have to team up to get out of there. And of course, Maul is going to betray them. But I thought it'd be cool to see Maul with a blue lightsaber, even if it is for just a couple seconds. I don't know. I just think it'd be cool to be like, yo, Maul and we got Ahsoka and Rex. They're getting pinned down by the clones, right? Like they're done. All of a sudden, Maul shows up, uses the Force to pull up Ahsoka's lightsaber, and kills the clones. And it's like, let's go. We like, I don't like you, you don't like me, but these guys are our enemies now. Like we gotta like we're not getting out alive. So only together can we get out alive. So I could see that being like a cool way to kind of have like a the enemy of my enemy is my friend. You know what I mean? And I think that'd be cool to see. It sounds a little far fetched, but I'd be okay with that. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but that's how I feel. Okay, so next question we have from Spidey's Gaming. He says, "What do you think happened to Baby Yoda because he isn't in The Rise of Skywalker? So what may have happened to him? And you don't have to give an exact prediction." Okay, so what may have happened to? See, I don't know. I actually have this theory that Baby Yoda, they're going to actually kill off Baby Yoda at some point in the series, just because you just don't expect it. I think we all expect that Baby Yoda is going to make it somehow and, possibly be like the help in the future of founding the Jedi again or something like that. We want to believe that. But I honestly think they might kill him off. And it's going to be in a way that's going to – it'll be like a sacrificial death. I don't want to see him die, guys. Don't go shooting me, okay? But that's what I think they might go along that line if they're going to go anywhere with him. So, yeah. All right. Okay. Move on to the next one. Oh, James is here. James Cosgrove. Sorry. James Costco. What's up, buddy? Okay. Let's see. Let's go to another question from the chat. You should start a Twitter account and then give your YouTube channel a link. I do have a Twitter account. I just don't use it. Okay. So for my channel, I have all the social medias. The only thing I don't have is a TikTok, and I don't want to make a TikTok. But apparently that's like the biggest thing now. And you kind of have to have every social media if you want to, do stuff. So I might have to make a TikTok. So that's fun. But I have a Twitter. I have a Instagram. I have an Amino. I forgot about that. I had some fans running an Amino for a while. I have a Discord that was created by some fans. Actually, I think I have the Discord link in the description below if you guys want to join up. It'd be awesome. I appreciate it. That's usually where like YouTube does this thing with my channel where it doesn't share my videos to all my subscribers. It's been like that for years. I don't know why it's that. Why they hate me? Maybe they hate me because they hate me, But I'm just kidding. I don't know why that is. And so if you haven't seen my videos for a while, then I would recommend joining my Discord because I'll tag you right away. I tag everyone in the Discord and then they all get the video. So that's just something that I would recommend. Like I said, link in the description below, or there should be a link. If there's not, I will leave. There's links in all my other videos. So yes. So Twitter, Instagram, I have a Snapchat. I think I have my Snapchat link down there too. I don't do a lot of stuff on Snapchat, but occasionally I will release the kind of funny video or the cool thing here and there. So, and I talk to my subs too. People don't really realize that, but I'm not like a YouTuber who's too cool for my subs, like a lot of other YouTubers, a lot of other big names. I'm not a big name, of course, but I like to be grounded. There's a lot of guys who they'll start off their channel talking to their subscribers and being a grounded person. And then when they start getting too many subs, that's when they're like, I'm too cool for all my subscribers. And then they just ignore their subs. I don't get that. I pretty much, I look at, if I don't answer every comment, I at least see every comment on my videos. And I have 500 some videos. Like I actually do see every comment on those videos. So yes, even the hurtful ones. But at the end of the day, I've done YouTube so long, like mean comments don't even faze me anymore. I actually just laugh at them. So I think if the best way to do is if you're going to do a mean comment, at least make it somewhat funny. Because that's like where I'm like, all right, I'll take it. Oh, hey, we got a super chat here from the Smug Smuggler. Thank you, sir. He says, what's your favorite Clone Wars season? Like your vids. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. That's awesome. Wow. I wasn't expecting a super chat. Thanks, guys. That's cool. What is my favorite Clone Wars season? So this is a hard one because I recently went back and watched a lot of them. If you guys have been following my videos, probably like I actually stopped doing them. Not because I wanted to stop doing them, because like other stuff in my life came up and I had to deal with that. I'm doing like the Clone Wars explain videos where I'm going through every episode of every season and kind of explaining them, giving like the meat and potatoes of the story. So if people want to catch up, they could. And I'm actually surprised how much I'm liking the first and second seasons. I still think my favorite season is the one where Maul and Savage team up. I think that's season 5. Someone in the chat can correct me, but I think it's season 5. Excuse me. Sorry. Got the Rona. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have the Rona. Anyways, so demonetized. Just kidding. So in season 5, I think it's season 5. Maul and Savage team up, and they go on just like killing a bunch of Jedi and just wrecking havoc. That's probably my favorite season, just because it's so raw. You know what I mean? Maul is just such a raw character. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what was so awesome about this newest episode was like when Maul showed up and started kicking people's butts. He was kicking people's butts. Like he wasn't just knocking people out like the Jedi do. No, he was slaughtering them. He was using pieces of wall to just slice off people's heads. Do you know what I mean? Like 2 clones lost their heads. He took another piece of wall, spliced a guy in half, took another clone's arm off just because. Like that clone was already gone. Like he didn't have to do that, but he was like, "Nah, I'm gonna take your arm off just because I'm Maul and screw you." That's what he did, and that was that is my favorite thing about the Clone Wars is the fact that, like, before Disney, of course, came across it, it was more for like the younger audiences, but it wasn't afraid to show the brutality of bad guys. You know, it wasn't afraid to make its bad guys bad guys. You know, when it comes to Disney, they kind of will. They'll be like, "Oh, this is a bad guy," but we'll cut away before he actually does the bad thing. You can infer what he did, but we're not going to show you. But this was one of those things where it's like, yes, this is what we need. You know, we need to see Maul just slaughtering dudes, and that's what I've been waiting to see. So when this popped up in this episode, I was like, yes, this is it. You know, that's what I've been waiting for. So maybe that's just me, but I think was something super cool. Okay, so I saw another thing on the chat here. He said, you should do more podcasts and videos with Anomaly Inc. Could be interesting to see you two in a video or something again. Yeah, so I did do one podcast with him. I haven't done any podcasts with anyone since then. But we had a good chat. The thing about his streams are that, like, he has a specific topic, and then he will, like, he'll watch like a 10-minute video, but it will take like 3 or 4 hours to get through that 10-minute video, if that. So we were watching a video that was legit maybe like 17 minutes, and we only got through like the first 5 minutes, and it was already like a 4-hour stream. And I was like, ooh, this is a long stream. You know, if I was, if I had a wife and a daughter and, like, you know, other work to do, no problem. You know what I mean? I'd love to talk to you about Star Wars forever. But like I had other like obligations to get to, and it was just it was a long night. So I had to wake up early that morning too. So that was a rough morning. I remember that, but it was fun. It was just like it takes a lot longer to do stuff. And usually it's because he has like 4 or 5 people all together like reviewing the specific video. So I mean, I love the guy. You know, he's awesome. He's one of my best YouTube buddies. If you haven't checked him out, definitely check him out. And yeah, it's just like that type of stream. I'd like to be on a stream just like he and I, maybe one other person, and we just kind of talk Star Wars and like a little podcast type of thing like this. But yeah. And then I saw another thing about Star Wars Only. Yes, I do keep in contact with Star Wars Only. Actually, he just streamed a video. He just streamed last night, and I jumped into the stream just to say, hey, what's up, man? So yeah, actually, he got some crazy super chats last night. That was crazy. I jumped in, and he just made like $300. Someone super chatted him $300, and I was like, I gotta start streaming again. So no, I'm just kidding. But that's not actually. I was actually going to begin streaming, but when I saw that, I was like, wow, people have really become generous with super chats. So that's awesome. Speaking of super chats, I got another one. James Cosgrove. Any tips on growing a YouTube channel? Okay, so the things that I always focus on is it's tough. So YouTube is constantly changing, but it's becoming more valuable to make videos. Unfortunately, with the COVID-19 situation right now, I guess that's another demonetization on me right there. I don't know. It's been knocking out advertisers because advertisers aren't paying for ads because people aren't going out to their stores and buying. So for right now, the ad revenue is really low. However, the viewership is higher than it usually is. So the idea is that the more videos you put out right now, the more people you'll have hanging around when the value is back in the clicks. But every year, a value of a click goes up. So like 3 years ago, the value of a click was, let's say like a value of a click was like 400 clicks was $1, right? Now it's like 350 clicks. Oh no, like 275 to 300 clicks is $1. So that doesn't seem like that much of a jump. But imagine in 3 more years, that's gonna be 200 clicks will be $1. Eventually, I'd like to believe like 1 click would make $1, but that would be a crazy amount of cash. But yeah, if you're going to start a YouTube channel, just start it now. At least release 2 videos a week. I try to do at least 2. Sometimes I'll do a third, sometimes I'll do 4, but I do at least 2, and usually I space them out. The idea is to stay relevant to the algorithm. If you miss your video, the algorithm is going to kick you off for another 2 weeks until you get back on. It does that. It does that to me anyways. I don't know. So yeah, that's probably what I would say. The best is just to YouTube is going to set parameters and they're going to put you down. They're going to continue to knock your channel down until you prove through the algorithm that you're worth staying in people's minds. And so it's tough. It takes a while, but if you have the heart, you have the drive, you can do whatever you want. Just make sure. Because here's the thing: there's an audience for anything. You could be a potato farmer. There's people out there who want to watch potato farming. Like you could be a guy who likes to drink water bottles fast, and there are people out there who want to watch a guy drink water bottles fast. You could be a guy who just likes to take pencils and break them. There are people out there who want to watch that type of content. Now, I'm not particularly one of those people, but people like that type of stuff. So hey, you could make a channel out of anything if you really want to, as long as you have the drive. So yeah, there's my biggest thing is just when you make videos, stay consistent. I would recommend doing quality as well, but at least do 2 videos a week and space them out. So like I do actually with the Clone Wars being out, I've been doing every Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. But what I do is I do Wednesday into Saturday. The reason for that is because it's hump day and it's also the first day of the weekend. So that's just what I've been working for my channel. The algorithm has been liking that, so that's what I do. Now, with that said, thank you for the super chat there, buddy. I appreciate it. And I'm going to move on to my next question here because I keep forgetting about this chat down here. Okay. All right. Do you think Darth Plagueis would? This one is from Claudius. Hey, I think Claudius is in the chat right now. I swear I just saw Claudius in the chat. The reason why I think maybe not. No, I swear I saw Claudius. Oh no, Julius. Okay, sorry, Julius Claudius. I think Claudius was actually Julius Caesar's middle name. Was it Julius Claudius Caesar? It's been a while. I gotta brush up on my Roman history. I know a lot about my Greek history, but my Roman history is a little rusty. So anyways, Claudius Alexander Effingfinger. Wow, that's a crazy name. He says, do you think that Darth Plagueis would have been a better villain for the sequel trilogy? In my opinion, it would have been a great twist to find out that Palpatine was actually a puppet of his. He ruled the galaxy in the background through Palpatine. So that would be an interesting concept. I know that was kind of like a theory for a while, was the idea that Snoke is just Plagueis. Personally, I think that I theorized a long time ago, and maybe some of you older subscribers might remember this. Maybe James might remember this. I theorized a long time ago that I think that Snoke was actually a puppet to another being out there who was once Snoke died, of course, he was actually a puppet to like a more powerful being somewhere out there in the galaxy or beyond the galaxy. And I made that theory. Well, I don't know if I made it, but I meant like I made it up in my head before I saw anyone else message it. And I thought that was a really cool idea, the idea that there was something bigger out there. But then they kind of played it safe, and they're just like, well, you know what? Everyone knows Palpatine's evil. Let's just bring Palpatine back. And so that's what they did. So Palpatine came back, and he is Snoke. Spoiler alert, I should say. I mean, I'm sure you guys all probably have seen, you're all Star Wars fans, so why wouldn't you have already seen episode 9? So sorry if I spoiled you, but you probably know already. So yeah. So I think it would have been cool to do someone. It didn't necessarily have to be Plagueis, but I feel like there should have been something bigger. I guess if you really wanted to tie the entire like saga together, you could just jump to Plagueis. It would have been interesting if Plagueis was the guy behind all of this, you know. Even if Plagueis allowed Palpatine to think he killed him, but he was always still in the background pulling the strings, waiting for the day, or just pretending to be dead. I don't know. That'd be an interesting concept. There's a lot of different interesting concepts that the Rise of Skywalker has introduced. So I guess we'll see how that goes. All right. Let us see. Let's go to this chat here. What's the next question here? Net Alliance. How do you feel about Battlefront 2 coming to an end? Okay, so for me, I never really played Battlefront 2. I mean, I have played it. I played it a couple times, but it wasn't. You remember, I'm from the generation that remembers the old 2005 Battlefront 2. In my mind, that's Battlefront. The new Battlefront feels like Battlefield with Star Wars skin on top, and that's okay. It's just not my Battlefront. So I feel like I've always kind of had like this blockage that didn't allow me to like the game as much as I wanted to. I don't really know how to explain that. Yeah, I played in a couple streams in the past, but it's been a while. I haven't played that game for at least a year and a half. I actually haven't even played Fallen Order yet, and the reason for that is because I don't like the fact that lightsabers, the lightsaber is like a bat, not an actual lightsaber. That kind of bothers me. But I'm waiting. There is a guy working on a mod that's going to make the lightsabers more realistic. So when that mod comes out, I'll pick up that game right away, no problem. But for right now, I'm going to wait on it. I'm especially going to wait for the, I think there's like an extra expansion coming out for that game too. I think I heard that. Whatever the case, I don't know. I think the reason why Battlefront 2 is actually coming to an end is because, you know how E3 is like a big gaming conference. You guys probably already know this. That got canceled due to the whole, situation going on. And I think that EA is going to announce Battlefront 3. So that might come out of nowhere. That actually might be an announcement for tomorrow. There's been hints. Battlefront 2 came out 2 years ago. And if you're going to end the game's updates this soon before the next one comes out, they have an announcement coming. So I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow we get an announcement of Battlefront 3. Would it be amazing if they did Battlefront 1 and 2 from the old days remastered? That's what I'm waiting for. But I'm sure that it's going to be coming soon. Okay. Where'd that question come from? That was you guys? Yes, because you asked about Battlefront 2. Okay, let's move back over to this chat. Okay, so this one's from Mr. Star Wars. He says, did you think the end duel with Palpatine and Rey was good? Personally, I think Palpatine should have whacked out a saber and whipped her butt back to Jakku. Okay. So this was the part that bothered me. So it was cool to see Kylo and I should say Ben by this point. It was cool to see Ben and Rey like standing there together. They both have blue lightsabers. They're both hanging out. They're both ready to battle. And Palpatine's looking at them like, haha. And I think it would have been interesting if he sucked out their life force and then they stood back up like, oh, you might have hurt us, but we're still alive. And Palpatine's like, yeah, for now. And then he would pull out a double red lightsabers or at least one lightsaber. And at least maybe we'd have some type of lightsaber fight, or even, I don't know, maybe there'd be an Anakin clone that if they can reclone Palpatine, why can't they clone, Anakin or something along those lines, or like a mutated Vader clone? That'd be crazy. That'd actually be pretty interesting when I think about it. And then he would come and fight Rey and Kylo. So we would still get that really nice lightsaber fight, but it would have been cool to see, Rey and Ben with their lightsabers actually fight another like red saber wielding beast, even if it isn't like Palpatine. I wish it would have been someone else though. But I think it was fine for what they did. Mostly what I wanted to see was the Jedi come up as Force ghosts, like every single one of them. The fact that we didn't see Anakin at least once, that actually probably bothers me the most about the latest film. Anakin is not in any, like, just let's think about this. Think about this right now. Anakin from the prequel trilogy, Vader from the original trilogy, and he's not even in the sequels. Yes, his voice is heard at one moment. Right? Maybe I think you hear his voice twice. But he doesn't show up. The Chosen One, doesn't even show up once. It was messy. I think if they would have gave a reason for why he couldn't show up, I would have been okay with it. Even if they're like, well, you see, the Force right now is really weak. So the Force Ghost can't show up unless you're on a planet that is actually like teeming with light ability, right? That would make sense. Then like, oh, that's why Anakin couldn't show up before, because no one was on a planet with that much light force ability. That would make sense. but it just kind of go back to like, what are you doing? What the heck? So yeah. AK Master, I said this earlier. I still do keep in touch with Star Wars only. I just haven't talked to him for a little bit. I was on his podcast yesterday. I wasn't on it, but I jumped into the chat quick just to say what's up to him. So it was cool to talk to him again. Hey, the Aussie Jedi, what's up, my guy? You seen the last episode? I did see the last episode. Dude, it was juicy. I was talking about that a little bit earlier, man. It was fun to see Maul just slaughtering clones. If you guys haven't seen the Aussie Jedi, check him out. If you guys like Battlefront, you guys asked about Battlefront earlier. If you like Battlefront videos, he's like the Battlefront guy. So check him out, definitely. Yeah, so I'll do a question over here. When is Chapter 2 of the Order 66 never happened? Okay, so I talked about this like in the beginning of the stream. Order 66 failed, is coming back. Chapter 7 is coming. I would say like keep an eye out for like the next couple weeks. Definitely before June. I'd like to believe. Just because I actually have the script finished. I just have to do the actual voiceovers and editing, and I might actually get like some different people to do voiceovers for the different characters. We'll see. I might do that. We'll see. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. And then, okay, what's your favorite Star Wars soundtrack? Okay, so that's a tough one because Star Wars is so good. There's so many different elements. Like if you ask, like, what is the saddest one? Order 66 soundtrack, 100%. Like you don't even have to be watching the movie. If you were to hear that soundtrack, you instantly just feel like a gloom comes over you. You're like, oh man, like you feel as if like you got punched in the stomach. And it's just a song. Like you don't need the movie. Just put that song in the background and you'll feel like you got punched in the stomach. And that's cool. I like that, And of course, Duel of the Fates, amazing. Even the original sound. I mean, there's no bad Star Wars soundtrack. Every single one of them is good. I guess my favorite one has to probably be. It's so hard. Probably the one where Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting. What song am I called again? That one's the Battle of Heroes, if I'm correct. Whatever the case, amazing. Someone in the comments will correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's called Battle of Heroes. Or is it? No, Duel of the Fates is the first one. Battle of Heroes is Battle of Heroes. I'm correct. Haha. Thank you. All right, so there's a bunch of people around me. You guys don't see it, but I'm thanking everyone around in this building. I have about 30 people here. Just kidding, but all right. Yeah, just everything, even from like the scene to just the music. Just it sounds dreadful, but it also sounds like uplifting. It's something that usually music can't do both. Music has to either be sad or happy or like serious, and this one managed to that one song managed to do so much stuff because like at certain points you're like, oh, Obi-Wan's gonna get it, oh, Anakin's gonna win, Obi-Wan's gonna win, Anakin's gonna win, and it goes back and forth. Although it's like the entire fight, if you watch the entire fight, Anakin is pushing Obi-Wan back the entire time. You know what I mean? Obi-Wan is lucky that he had the high ground there because Anakin would have won that fight. Okay. Oh no, he has a plot immunity. That's how he won. I'm just kidding. Okay, moving on. So we got the next question. This one is your favorite scene from each movie. Mine, Han's death, The Force Awakens, Yoda, The Last Jedi, Rey versus Palpatine, The Rise of Skywalker. Okay, so from each three of the films, my favorite moment, I'd say Episode 7 is probably. What do I like the most? Ooh. Well, I know Episode 8. I think I like the throne room scene the most. I know if you slow it down, the choreography it's choppy. I know that. But I have to say that I do think that it's the most visually stunning scene, I think. It pulled me into the film the most, and that's why I like that one. But I would say The Rise of Skywalker. The Babu Frick part's pretty funny. Yeah, he's pretty cool. I like him. Um, yeah, I also like the fact that when Rey and Kylo are fighting again on the broken pieces of the Death Star, I was just waiting for like Rey to just whip his butt, but he actually wins. Like Rey would have died had Leia not stepped in. Like that's something that's cool. Like because that makes sense. You know, like Rey is powerful. We know that. We know Rey is really strong, but Kylo has been training his entire life with both lightsaber and the Force. So it's okay if like you do the whole the light side and the dark side will meet each other. That's okay if you want to do that, but there's a lot of more like things that go into that. So it's one thing if you're super powerful, but you have to be able to wield that power. And so I think that was interesting to actually have Kylo win that fight. So I guess I like that. I guess I like that scene when Kylo wins that fight because it makes sense. Now, The Force Awakens. For some reason, I feel like I do have a favorite part. It's just not in my head right now. Oh, definitely the Rathtar scene. It's so good. It's definitely not filler at all. It's just perfect. It's amazing. It's insanium in the cranium, dog, as the kids say. You know, just kidding. No, I'm kidding. I don't like the Rathtar scene is not good, but that's a good question. I probably have to figure out the Force. I'd have to rewatch the Force Awakens, and I'd be like, oh, that's right, that's my favorite scene. You know, but for right now, I'd stop popping out, and that shows something because I can tell you my favorite parts out of all the other episodes in the sagas, but episode 7, 8, and 9, I actually had some trouble even remembering those scenes. So, and I've seen all those films more than 5 times. Every single one I've seen more than 5. So I should know. You know, I think The Rise of Skywalker I only saw 4 times. So I guess you can give that one a pass, but even still, I don't know. I don't know. I'm spending too much time on this question. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, let's see what we have here. Okay, so this one is from R Ducky 3, and he says, favorite Star Wars scene of all time, show or movie? Oh, let's see. If I were to blank out my brain, right? Just refresh it, and someone asked me, what's your favorite Star Wars scene of all time? The scene that comes to my mind is Anakin versus Obi-Wan. I think I was like 10 when I saw that movie, and that movie stuck with me my entire life. I honestly have to say that is probably the best scene of all Star Wars. It's just people talk about how it's so long and how it. Let me move my mic over so you guys can hear me a little better. People talk about how it's so long and how like it is overdone, and I just disagree. I think I want to be longer. maybe that's just me. That could just be me, but if they wanted to make a full hour movie of just Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting on Mustafar and the different obstacles they have to go by, I would say go for it. Totally. 100%. So, yeah, that might be bad to say that, but I'm that has been my favorite scene. Definitely. Okay, moving on. We have Max Hunt. He says, do you think that the inclusion of force healing was a good or bad thing? Explain. Okay, so the creators actually explained this. So it wasn't as much as they were force healing as they were giving life force over. So the idea is that if I'm feeling okay and you cut yourself, I could give you a percentage of my living force to, heal that cut. That's kind of the idea. However, I'm now hurt, and it's going to take a little bit before my life force builds back up. So that's kind of how they were going with that in the film. So initially I was like, what's with this force healing? But that's not what it is. So if you look at it that way, the fact that Kylo dies, he kind of gives up the rest of his force life to bring Rey back in the end. And then he dies because he gave all of his force life over to her. Now, what I was thinking was, what would have been smart for Rey to do was to give it back to him, and then him to give back to her. And what they could do, because they have a couple seconds there before they actually die, right? They could actually call for help and then start running to the medical vehicle, right? And then one would die, bring the person back. The other person would die, bring that person back. and they could just keep like, dying and like slowly making their way to the medical vehicle, right? And then when they get there, the one person could take the life force, save that person, right? And then put that person who was already dying in the medical back to tank. And then they would survive because they'd have the technology to keep them alive, right? I mean, sounds ridiculous, right? But I mean, it's an idea. If I was going to die and my boo thing was going to die or could live, but we could both, or if my boo thing was going to die, all right, Sam Kylo, my boo thing is Rey. Say she go and die, right? If we can trade force abilities to our life forces, I would do everything in my power to make sure we both get out of there, right? And maybe that's just me, but it's a solution, right? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Okay, let's go back over to the chat over here. Okay. This is from the Smug Smuggler. Have you watched King of the Hill? I have watched King of the Hill. I have not watched that for a long time, but that was always a fun show. I remember, actually, I didn't really like it when I was younger, but as I got older, I got into it. Like, God damn it, Bobby, And you got Boomhauer. He's like, no. Hey, no, God, no, what I'm saying? And then Hank's thing is, oh. I was always pretty good at the voices. All right. I'll do another one here. This one's from William Hickmott. And Ned, what are your thoughts about how C-3PO can now remember all three trilogies because R2-D2 restoring his memory? Okay, so see, this was interesting too. So he could remember back to episode 1. Like he could remember that Anakin made him. Was it that far that he restored it? I thought he restored it back to like the previous episode. Like episode 7. All right. I guess it would be episode 8 technically. Really, did he restore his entire memory? Like back to when he was created by Anakin? Like he remembers waking up and seeing Anakin and being like, whoa, hello, little boy, Like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Huh. That's interesting. There's a lot of potential story plots that C-3PO probably could have fixed had R2 just did that right off the bat. But hey, I guess that's the way it goes. And that's Star Wars for you. There's always a reason for why something isn't easily done when it comes to Star Wars. Okay, next one we have Right Republicans. Ooh, and he's got a picture of Ronald Reagan, the most Americans of all Americans. And he says, do you think we should have had Anakin physically appear to Kylo instead of Han? Yes. I love Han. I know it makes sense for a father coming back and, forgiving the son. But this was Anakin's saga. We had Anakin through episode 1 through 3. We had Vader through 4 through 6. And I get it. We have to leave the past in the past. You have to focus on the new characters, make them a bigger deal. But Anakin should have showed up at some shape or form. He should have had some type of thing to do in the universe. Had Rey been a reincarnation of Anakin, I think I would have been more accepting of that, because then technically Anakin did finish the fight that he was supposed to be finishing. For Rey finished it, and if she was the reincarnation of him, there you go. That kind of works then. I would be more okay with that. But the fact that they didn't use Anakin, it does kind of bother me. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm going to do one more of this one because this is another question. What do you think of Rey's yellow lightsaber? I think it's cool. I kind of wish they would have brought it in sooner. It was kind of pointless for her to be like, turn it on and be like, oh, that's cool. Do you like that, audience? You want me to see me fight with this? Well, guess what? You'll never see this. You're not going to see this. That was kind of a missed opportunity. I actually wanted her to get when they destroyed the lightsaber in the end of episode 8, I actually thought she was going to come back with a double-bladed blue lightsaber. And I think initial concepts for Trevorrow's film was that was going to happen. But then I think they played it safe. They were just like, you know what? We're not going to do that. We're going to keep that. We're going to keep the double lightsaber with Maul, We're not going to really push anything. We also don't want her to be compared to Bastila Shan, who was one of the coolest female Jedi to ever live. We don't want her to be compared to that. So we're going to make something different. We're going to do what we're going to do. It's just like, it's rough. Hang on a second. Man, that Rona is getting me. I'm just kidding. I keep making that joke. I shouldn't be making that joke. Okay, next question here. All right. Net, do you like Anakin, Obi-Wan, or Yoda? I like all of them. If I have to pick my favorite out of all of them, it's Anakin. He's my second favorite character of all of Star Wars. He's just the bomb.com, as the kids say. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And another one, Net Alliance. Have you heard of the Fandom Menace? If so, what are your thoughts of them? Okay, so this is like a Facebook group, right? The Facebook group was made, and they don't like Star Wars, Disney. They like Disney, Star Wars, right? And so they're the Fandom Menace because they don't like Disney, Star Wars. And my whole thing is that I have no issue. If you don't like something, that is 100% okay. If you hate something, that is 100% okay. If you don't like a character, you don't have to like a character. You don't like a movie, you don't have to like a movie. But don't go to people who have no control over that creative process and start attacking them. Do you know what I mean? That's where they're wrong. For instance, like, Kelly Tran, the girl who plays Rose Tycho. Yeah, Rose Tycho, she's a rough character. She's rough. But to go beyond her character to a point where she has no power over, and then to attack the actress, that is wrong. You were in the wrong. As soon as you get personal about that type of stuff, you're in the wrong. The people you can go after are the people in charge, Kathleen Kennedy. If you want to go after Kathleen Kennedy, go after her. I would recommend not being a jerk. I would recommend being like, Kathleen Kennedy should be removed because this reason, not just that Kathleen Kennedy got to be removed because she's a dumb lesbian. No, give an actual reason for why you think she should be removed, and then be able to back up your statement with some examples and your personal thoughts. But don't go attacking people. Give a statement for why you think something is, and then explain that reason. Right? You can't just be like, you're stupid. You're dumb. You like pennies in your nose. If you insult that way, I guess, it is an insult. So, hey, that's the way it goes. But yeah, to go over people's heads and attack people who have zero control over the creative process behind them, that you're in the wrong. That's just wrong. Okay, next one. This one is from Fizzy Plays. He says, do you think Kylo Ren was a well-written character? If not, why? So here's the thing. When I first, after The Force Awakens came out, I didn't like Kylo. I thought, and not just because he got his butt kicked by Rey, that was partially of it, but it was because like his character felt so fake. He felt like a Darth Vader light. Like if Disney was going to make their own Darth Vader, they would make Kylo Ren. You know what I mean by that? That's what it feels like. So it is kind of rough when you consider that. But I've come around to him. I think he actually is probably now my favorite character out of the new trilogy of characters. I'm more okay with his change. I do kind of feel like the sequel trilogy altogether, it feels like the original trilogy redone. And it does have its different moments, of course. But like I mentioned, it feels like Disney took the original trilogy and they wanted to make their own version. They wanted to make a light version of it. And that's what they made. And that's pretty much what it is. There's these elements they could have went into, like Usain Vaughn territory. They could have gone anywhere, and they decided just to stay at the same spot they were at. And that just bothers me. Here's the thing. I'm a writer, right? For those of you who've been around for a while, I've written different like Star Wars fan fictions. I'm actually have written up my own book. I've been writing for 10 years now. I've done different type of things here and there. I wrote my own play once. I've actually published that play. I'm not going to say that I'm like a genius. I'm not trying to talk about like how I'm like the best writer in the world. That's not what I'm trying to say. But like when a writer looks at like another situation, sees all the potential that they could have done, and sees that the potential is squandered, that's when it hurts. That's when I go, oh man, they could have done this, they could have done that. They have all this source material to grab from, and they didn't do anything, and it just bothers me personally. So that's why I'm bothered by that situation. I'm gonna do one more from here, and then I'll move over to the chat and get some questions over here. If you were asked by Disney to, oh, here we go. If you were asked by Disney, this is by Muklaplex. Yes. If you were asked by Disney to write the sequels, would you do it? And if so, would you change? What would you change? Okay, so I legit just talked about that. Was weird. That's like a weird fate type of situation. I just talked about this. I talked about this in previous videos, but what I would have done was I would have taken all the different. I would have made the fight bigger. The trilogy would have been about something bigger. I actually had written my own episode 7, 8, 9, and I'm repurposing those for my own episode 10, 11, 12 now. So I don't want to go into too specifics because I don't want to really spoil too much, but I would have gone bigger with the universe. You know, the prequel trilogy was more about like half the galaxy versus half the galaxy. And then the original trilogy was about this whole galaxy being owned, and there's like a rebel fraction in the middle of it, you know, fighting back this galaxy. And then the next one was specific. Like I would see the next element to go as far as conflict would be galaxy versus galaxy. So, or a galaxy versus an unknown threat, like the next big bad, something that we've just never seen before. Even like ancient Darksider or something like that, that's been waiting for Palpatine's actual demise or something. I don't know. Whatever the case, they had a lot of potential. They dropped the ball. And I don't hate the sequel trilogy, but there's just so many elements that they missed out on, and it just hurts me as a writer. So, yeah. Okay, moving on over here. All right, see you later, Gary Jones. Okay, now Lines. What is your favorite era in Star Wars? Clone Wars, 100%. Something about clones and droids fighting, that's just amazing to me. I love that. All right, next one. Another one from James. You were writing your own book, right? Yes, I was, and I am. I'm actually writing a trilogy. It's actually my own adaptation on the Trojan War or the Iliad. I have book 1 done. I'm just doing like the editing stuff on that still. I'm starting work on book 2. So people are wondering why I'm not really doing my own like Star Wars theories and fan fictions that much anymore. It's because I've been using a lot of that creative, a lot of those creative juices into my own works of fiction instead of, Star Wars works of fiction. So that's why I'm moving back into Star Wars works of fiction, because I'm finally done with my own work. So yeah. So that's why I'm going back into doing what ifs and theories and stuff like that. And then Nicholas Murphy, do you like Star Wars theory? Okay, so I respect him. I don't know. I can't say I really like him. There's a lot of times in the past, I've talked to him maybe like 4 times ever. And every time I talk to him, he like we promise. I shouldn't say he really promises, but we talk about doing a possible collaboration. And the first time I talked to him, he only had like 150,000 subscribers, which is still a lot. But like he could have really helped boost my channel at the time. And he was like, "Yeah, let's do something." I'm like, "Oh, cool, thanks for talking to me." And we had ideas, and then I contacted him. He told me to email him, so I emailed him, and I never got a response back. I'm like, okay, maybe he's just busy, whatever. I'll contact him in a week. Contact him again, still nothing back. And then we would occasionally cross paths in like live streams and stuff like that. I'm like, "Hey man, what's going on?" And then he would talk to me like, "Hey buddy, what's up?" But he would never actually talk to me. So it was just I'm not gonna attack the guy. I can't. I maybe he's got other stuff going on in his life, so I can't really say. I know I personally forget a lot of stuff. But I do kind of feel a little bit jaded by that whole situation, because had he helped me out all this, it was like back in 2017, had he helped me out back then, it really would have boosted my channel for the time, you know. I think it's just what it is, you know. That's just how I feel. But yeah. So, another one here I actually saw. Someone said, "Do you like Hello Greedo?" I do like Hello Greedo. He's actually another one who I tried to contact, but I've never got a response back to either. The difference is like he and I never actually communicated. Actually, we did communicate, and I think about it. One time he was live streaming for a SWTOR, Star Wars: The Old Republic, and he was making his own cruiser with like his clan, a clan cruiser, and I joined his clan and I bought him his throne room. So if you guys ever go on his clan, if you've ever joined his clan and go on his cruiser and you go in the throne room, I bought the throne room for him. It was a couple million credits, but I had the extra and I was trying to be a nice guy. And yeah, so I got him his throne room. So that's pretty cool. I haven't really talked to him since then though, but he's like me in the type of situation where like we both have like a daughter now, and we're both just like doing both at the same time. The difference is like he has a whole 150,000 more subscribers than me, but you know he's been around for 5 years longer than I have, so it would make sense that he would have double what I have, if not more. So it is what it is. I think a big thing for me too is because I've been around for like 5 years, technically. Yeah, a little over 5 years. But I only started posting 3 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, so that's the big thing. I think that might have actually hurt my channel in the beginning. So I think this goes back to James' question earlier. If you're going to start a YouTube channel, when you start it, hit the ground running. Just keep posting. Like, don't stop posting. Even if you got to take a break, do at least one video a week or something like that. I think that hurt me because I started really posting videos at the end of 2016, and then I was doing a lot of videos for a while, and then I took like a whole year off for 2018, pretty much when my daughter was born, because I just didn't have the mental capability to keep on going. So that was just kind of like my reasoning for that. So yeah, I'm good now, as you guys can probably tell from my videos I'm posting. But yeah, that really took a toll on me. Yeah, so we're gonna get back to these questions here. This one is Dezoni S, and he says, why some if people think sequel trilogy is good? Okay, thinking means why do some people think the sequel trilogy is good? In a lot of ways, the sequel trilogy is good, but in a lot of ways, it's bad. So that's how it goes. But you know, the same thing could be said about a lot of things. I don't necessarily want to go into it. I don't want to like, you know, attack anything. I just think personally, in my personal opinion, I said this earlier, the sequel trilogy had so much potential and it was wasted. And that's what hurts the most, to see what they could have created and what they could have done, and to just see them drop the ball. It hurts. It hurts as a fan, as a writer. It just hurts to see like something could have come out of this trilogy and it could have been amazing, and it was just okay. And I guess people's responses online show just how rough it was. I'm gonna do another one from here, and then I'll jump over to the chat again. Okay, so this one is, oh my gosh, I don't know how to pronounce this name. Abahasha Basha Shinjiji. That can't be a real name. That's a fake name. That's like he just like when he created his YouTube account, they asked what he wanted to name his channel, and he just like punched his keyboard. That's how he got that. All right, so he asked, is it just me, or was Rey defeating the Sith basically Disney just saying that the whole Anakin redemption story and him fulfilling the role as the chosen one was pointless? Tell me if you agree, and if you do or don't, to what extent? Okay, so I think if you change your perspective on the ending, it becomes better. I see it as Anakin did the first part of the finishing off, and Rey did the second part. I mean, because technically Anakin defeated the physical body of Palpatine, which caused him to grow weaker, and then Rey just did the extra finishing off part, I guess you could say. So At first, I was like, this ruins Anakin. I was in your boat. I thought this ruined Anakin's story. Like I mentioned earlier, Anakin should definitely be in this. I think that's something that we can all agree on. He should have been in the story at some point. But I do think that if you look at it in the way that she finished what Anakin started, it becomes more acceptable to the situation that happened. At least in my opinion. So it makes me feel better thinking it that way. So yeah. So that's how I feel. What do you guys feel about this? Actually, let me know in the chat. What do you guys say? Do you think this ruined Anakin's, or do you think it actually did help? Let me know. Okay, let me go into the questions over here, the chat. Next one we have. Okay, this one is from Elite Sleet Zero. And he says, I have a theory with the new episode. We probably are going to see Kanan escape Order 66. That would be cool. I don't necessarily think I need to see it, but it would be cool to have it like referenced, especially if we saw Kanan in the trailer. So it would be cool to see him actually pop up. Now, I don't know. It's weird. I feel like I saw him in the trailer with Mace Windu in that one scene, but then they cut him out. So maybe that's later on. Maybe Mace Windu wasn't in that, but I feel like Mace was in that scene. I don't know. That was weird. Maybe they'll do a flashback of sorts, but yeah, that'd be cool. I'd be okay with that, even if they referenced it. Okay. Net Alliance, what would you call an underrated art form? To me, pro wrestling is an underrated art form. Underrated art form. I don't really know. That's a good question. I have to probably sit back and think about that. I would just think like just dueling, like the sword fight dueling is underrated. I feel like that's a really interesting and impressive sport to be good at, but it's one of those things where it's like it doesn't give you a ball and you ain't making millions of dollars, so no one cares. And so I do think it's underrated. Just any type of martial art that is like interesting and takes hard work. I think that's underrated. Okay. James Cosgrove. Oh, James again. He says, do you think small channels should find others to collab with? Yes. The best way to grow is to grow together. I did a lot of collabing with a bunch of creators that you guys might actually know now, back in the day when they were just small guys. I'm not going to say that I jumped their channel or anything, or I jump started their channel. I'm not going to say that, but like I did, I found creators who I thought would be, who we could work off each other. They were good. I was good. Like, we could work together and build together. And that's kind of what I did. Aussie Jedi, he was in here earlier. I gave him a feature on my channel once or twice. And he has more subscribers than I do now. There's a guy named Larry the Stormtrooper. He does good videos. I gave him I worked with him, and he made I think he might have more subscribers than me now too. Like a lot of guys, they started off like nothing. Even Star Wars only, he had like nothing. I worked with him. He went up. And then there's another one. Trying to remember. I should remember. It's just been so. Austin Burke, and he's not an actual Star Wars YouTuber like the other ones I've mentioned. He does a bunch of different movie reviews and stuff. But when I started working with him, he had like less than 1,000 subscribers. Now I think he might have actually passed me by now too. So yeah, like it's cool to be able to say like I helped a lot of other YouTubers out, and that I've helped out more too. But those are just the 4 main ones I know, because those are the ones who stuck with it. A lot of other YouTubers had a potential, but they didn't stick with what they were working on, and so they got left behind. And that's just how it is. You got to put in the time. It's not an overnight process. You got to put in years of work, but it does pay off in the end. Like I'm now at the point in YouTube where I can just make 2 videos a week, and they'll be fine. So like 2 videos a week, 8 videos a month. I might do more. I might even do less. I try not to do less, but I might do less. And I can officially be able to like support my family off of what I make off YouTube because of that. Now with COVID-19 situation, there's another demonetization. I can't, like the ad revenue is like a third of what it would be. Do you know what I mean? So let's say you were to make hypothetically, you would make like $50, or let's do $60. You'd make $60 normally on a day. So instead of making $60 a day, you're making like $20 a day. Like that's an example of what I'm going off of. And that's because ad revenue is just so crap right now. It's worse than it has ever been. Actually, no, it's been worse than this, but it's worse compared to like January, because usually by this point in the year, the ad revenue is spiking back up. And in January, right after December, after like all the companies spend all their money in advertisements for the holidays, there was a massive spike. So like in December, it could be like 150 clicks is $1. And then when you go to January, it's 300 clicks is $1. So that means that you now have to get double the amount of clicks to make that dollar up. Now, if you have Patreons, if you have YouTube memberships, that like you don't have to worry about that type of stuff, because you'll still be making that ad revenue plus what people are donating to you, which is cool. But if you don't have that, then like for me personally, like I used to do a lot of Patreon pushing, and I used to have like 5 or 10 Patreons in the past, but then I stopped posting videos because real life got in the way, and I had to focus on that. And people pulled their Patreons off, and I understand why, because I wasn't making content. So I lost my patrons, and then I didn't really want to push it because I didn't like the idea of asking for money. I've never been the type of guy who asks for money. I hate that. I've never. But I understand why people do it though. So I do respect the fact that other creators can do that. But I just like the idea, like, hey, instead of asking you for money, do you mind just sitting through this 5-second ad? You know what I mean? And in doing so, you've helped me out. You've helped my channel. You've helped me to grow. And you're not paying me more money than you have to. All you do is you're paying me with your time, your 5 seconds of time. And that's not hard to do. So yeah, that was a bit of a tangent. So I apologize for that, but that is the way it is. Okay, if I didn't have to do like more ads and stuff, then I wouldn't. If YouTube just was like, hey, here's free money, that'd be nice, but it doesn't work that way. Okay, so let's go back to questions. Next one we have Phantom, and he says, do you think Anakin should have been in the movie? Yes, I think we talked about this. In some scenes, do you think more Force Ghosts should? Yes, the final battle, that the Jedi should have shown up. All of our favorite Jedis, even Mace Windu, Ahsoka, they should have all been there. Okay, next one. We have Charlie Sheldon. He says, I personally am not a fan of the sequel trilogy in Star Wars at all, episode 7, 8, 9. I think that Star Wars would have been better off with just the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, and Rogue One, and all those, but without episode 7, 8, 9. Do you agree with this take? What is your opinion on this? I'm okay with 7, 8, and 9. I feel like if I were to buy Star Wars, that's what I would have done. I would have done 7, 8, 9. 100%. But I do think that I would have definitely had a full story written out. I would have had 7, 8, 9 planned out to a T before I even considered production on the 7th one. That was the issue with the sequel trilogy. It was they wrote the seventh film without really thinking what they're going to do with the 8th film. They brought a new guy in. He came in, wrote his own episode 7, but called episode 8. And then the guy who made the original episode 7 came back to finish off the story that he wrote on episode 7, while also disregarding things that happened in episode 8. It's just a mess. You can tell they didn't have a plan, and it's obvious, and it shows. So that is why it gets pushed behind like that, because of that reason. Okay, so this has gone on for about an hour. I got 6 more questions here, and so I'm going to jump back over here, and then I'll knock out these 6 questions. I'm going to see if I can get this done before an hour and a half, but whenever I try to give myself a time limit, I never hit it anyway, so I don't know why I even try to do time limits anymore. Okay. Okay, this one is actually Will DeMarco. He just mentioned this right now. Are you going to bring back What If series? Yes. If you weren't here earlier, I don't think you were. I didn't see you earlier. I did a reveal that chapter 7 of my What If the Order 66 didn't happen, or what if the Jedi Council survived Order 66? That whole series, the new chapter 7 is coming out. I have it written. I just have to do the voiceovers, editing, and all the extra work. So probably about 2 weeks. 2 weeks at the most, 2 weeks at the least, probably, but definitely before the end of May. That's my goal. I'm going to pop it out before the end of May. So keep an eye out for it. Okay, move back to this one. Okay, this one is from Brooke Perfect, and she says, if you could redo any Star Wars, which one would it be? I would redo episode 7, because then episode 8 and 9 would have to follow the timelines. The timeline set ahead of them. So yeah, that's probably the easiest answer for that one. Next one is Hunter Thrasher, and he says, what was your favorite thing about this trilogy? Rathtars. Just kidding. My favorite thing about this series. What is my favorite thing about the series? That's a good question. The new trilogy. What is my favorite thing about the new trilogy? I guess if I have to choose something, it'd be Kylo's arc. I think that's probably the most cohesive arc. Even then, it's still not that cohesive, but it's cohesive enough that I think that's going to be my answer for that one. All right, next question. What's your favorite scene in the movie, and what's your least favorite scene in the movie? He's talking about Rise of Skywalker. So my favorite scene is Babu Frick. My least favorite scene is probably something that has to do with like a filler scene, something unneeded. I don't know. I don't really have a scene I hate. Like if you ask me about Avengers Endgame, great movie, one of the best out of the MCU. I love it. Okay. But there is one scene, and you guys probably know what I'm talking about, in the final battle, that it's dumb. It doesn't make any sense to put it in. They did it specifically for not really for fan service, but just to be like girl power. And it's like, I can tell you that's my specific most hated scene because it doesn't make sense for the story. And I know I'm going off in another tangent, but let me explain why. It's one thing to go, hey, girls are cool, and that's fine. But to then be like, to add it to a scene that is necessarily pointless. Like, if you guys saw Endgame, I'm sure you all have. If you remember, Peter Parker gives the gauntlet to Captain Marvel, and she's standing there, and he's like, "How are you gonna get through that through that alone?" And all the girls are like, "Oh, she's not alone. We're all here. Girl power, girls. Let's do this, ladies." And it's like, and then 2 seconds later, Captain Marvel just flies past all of them anyways, and just goes bursting through a bunch of enemies, and it's like, that's what bothers me. It was different if, let's say, he gave it to maybe gave it to Gamora, or he gave it to someone who would need more assistance. Maybe even gave it to Gwyneth Paltrow, Pepper Potts. That makes sense. They would need help getting through all those people. But Captain Marvel, when she goes photon ability, I think it's called photon ability. Whatever the case, when she gets like all like Super Saiyan, she can just burst through enemies. There's no reason for her to have help. So that's what bothers me. There is no real big scene like that in this film, which is good. There's no scene that made me go, oh. Maybe the Chewbacca fake out death. That might be the closest example I'd make, but nothing like, it wasn't that big of a deal. I didn't really want Chewbacca to die anyways, so when I found out he lived, it was kind of a fake out, and it was like, I don't hate this, but I don't necessarily like it either. So that's just how I feel. Okay, next one, Meme Supreme 980, and this is, do you like the fact that Rey was Papa Palp's granddaughter or not? I was always more of a fan of the idea that she was a reincarnated Anakin, and that's why she was the chosen one now, because she was finishing what he started. I mentioned this earlier in the stream. I kind of wish it was still like that, but it's not. So that's just the way it is. I'm okay with the way they went with it. I just kind of feel like there were better avenues they could have taken. Okay, I got 2 more questions here, and I'm going to do a couple questions in the chat, and then I'm going to be done. Okay, next one. So this one is from Antis Bulint. He's actually in the chat, or he was earlier. He says, what's your favorite and least favorite sequel character? Okay, my favorite is Kylo. My least favorite is, I think the easiest thing would say be Rose or Admiral Holdo, but I'm going to focus on the main 4. Rey, Finn, Kylo, and Poe. My favorite out of those, Kylo. My second favorite, Rey. My third favorite, Poe. And Finn is my least favorite. I like Finn. I liked Finn in episode 7. I did not like him in episode 8. And episode 9, I thought he was okay. Episode 9 made me like Poe more. Episode 7, he was okay. Episode 8, he was fine. And then in episode 9, it made me go, okay, he's a cooler guy, especially when they gave him more freedom in showing that he is a smuggler guy. Like his personality is so much more likable. Rey, I liked in episode 7. I thought she was a firecracker in episode 8. I actually liked her in episode 8. And then episode 9, she was okay. So it's just weird. It's weird how that works. Like there is no character out of the new 4, the new Fab 4 that is like perfect. They all have their own cons about them, and I don't just mean like their character traits, but I mean like how I view them. So yeah, the best one is Kylo. The least best is Finn. For while Finn is a funny comedic character, his story arc was pretty much done by The Last Jedi. In a way, his story arc was even done by The Force Awakens, and it was just like so much that he could have gone further into as far as his character goes, because we've never seen a character like him. The idea of him being, well, we did, but in the actual movies, we've never seen a character be a stormtrooper and then join the rebels. We see that in maybe the games, comic books, TV shows, but in the movies, you don't hear that. That type of stuff doesn't happen in the movies. So it'd be interesting to see, how that really affects him more, but we don't really do that. He's just kind of there to yell Rey. That's what he does. So yeah. Okay. I got one more question here. So this one is from Maze Jumper 4850. And he says, question 1, if you could change the end of Rise of Skywalker, would you? Question 2, do you think Palpatine was cloned? Question 3, do you think Kylo was redeemed at the end? If I could change the ending, yes, I would. If I could slightly change it, I would put the Force Ghosts in it. I would even maybe have like Rey defeat Palpatine physically again, and then Palpatine be like, "Ha, silly girl, I'm beyond life. I am a Force Ghost, haha." And that's when like the Force Ghosts would all team up and then have to use the Force to destroy the evil dark side Palpatine. And if you're already going to go like this far fetched with the story that they want with the sequel trilogy, just go full out. I mean, like just have Palpatine go from being this physical form to being this big evil Sith ghost, and then just have all the Jedi from the past come up and start like, trying to destroy him. But I thought it would be interesting if like all the Jedi, excluding like Anakin, would be there trying to like destroy him. And, Palpatine's like, "Ah, you foolish Jedi, I'm too powerful now. Ha 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 ha." And then, Anakin would pop up and be like, "You're done," or I don't know. He'd have a cool phrase to say, of course. Palpatine would be like, "You can't destroy me. I'm too powerful. I'll kill you all." And then that's when Anakin would show up and he'd be like, "You will try." Oh, there you go. That's a good one. And then that's when they would destroy him. So that would at least give more. That would not only give Anakin, more reasoning for like. He brought balance because he did have a hand in bringing balance to the Force, but also it would add like I don't know, more dynamics. It sounds rough, but the entire trilogy itself is kind of rough. So that's the way it goes. And Palpatine was cloned. Yes, he was cloned. And Kylo was redeemed at the end. Yes, I do think he was for the most part redeemed, but there were different elements that they could have done differently. So that is the Q&A for this. Let's do 3 more questions off the chat. So guys, go ahead, rack them off in the questions. Let me know your questions over here in the chat. and we'll see. I'm going to pick randomly. I'm not going to like pick them out. Ready? Okay, first question. This one is from Will DeMarco. He says, Tabib Torian, what are you waiting for, man? No offense. Tabib Torian. Wait. I think I missed something. Did I miss something? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So there's a guy named Tabib Torian earlier up. He says, I never watched a full Star Wars movie. Dude, you got to watch him, bro. Watch him, man. And subscribe to my channel. I do a bunch of stuff. Okay. We're going to do another one. All right. Ready? And another question right here. Okay. What is your favorite Clone Wars episode? This is asked by Becky Solis. Okay. So my favorite Clone Wars episode. Ooh, this is tough. I really like the... I forget what it's called. For right now, it's escaping my brain. I really like. It's not really like a episode specifically, but I like the arc where Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka meet the father, the brother, and the sister. Is that Malachor? No, it's not Malachor. Manticore? I forget the name of that. Someone in the chat, you guys will know this, but I think that arc is just so interesting. Mostly because Mortis. That's right, Mortis. Thank you. That was a shout. Becky got it. Look at that. So I just love that arc because it's so different. Like we've never seen anything like that in Star Wars canon. You know, leading up to that point, we had like Legends. I guess technically Legend was still canon at the time, but like as far as like the TV shows, movies, something that far out, we've just never seen anything like that. And it was just so interesting. So that's why I think it's my favorite because it just stuck out to me. I don't think the story is necessarily the best compared to some other Clone Wars episodes, but I think just it's so different. So it's good. Hey, we got a super chat from Darth Revan. Greetings from the dark side. Hey, Darth Revan. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Darth Revan is, you know what? I could have swore Darth Revan was supposed to have a scene in season 7 of the Clone Wars. Like he was supposed to show up in season 7, was he? Was he not? Like as a flashback or something, or a Datacron or holocron. I forget what that is. Someone in the chat probably knows all that specific stuff. They'll explain it. Okay, let's go back to questions. All right, I'm going to answer another question. My second last question before my final question. I'm going to answer this question. It says, this one's from Jake Warby. He says, are you going to bring back Versus? Yes. I actually forgot about that. I did bring back Versus, didn't I? My memory's the worst. I might do like a monthly Versus just because before I used to do weekly Versus and they were like really short videos. I want to be able to do a medium between like my old videos, which were like 3-minute long. Just like, here's the pros, here's cons. This is the fight. This is the victor. And then you get like the long-winded stuff like, Janissary and Evan Nova. Like those guys, they put a lot of work into their verses. They have like the whole hour-long verses, and that's cool. And I appreciate that. That's awesome. But they are kind of long-winded, you know. So I'm trying to find a good medium. I'm trying to do at least like a 10-minute versus video, but it's kind of harder to do that type of stuff. So I guess if you guys want to see me do more verses, just let me know. Leave this stream a like, I guess. It's going to turn into a video, so everyone can still watch this afterwards. So we got about one more question, and then I'm going to be done. So I'm going to give you guys like 30 seconds. Ask as many questions as you want. Feel free to spam the chat with questions. And the last person is going to get the final question. And you know what? This is actually really fun. I haven't, for those of you who haven't been here since the beginning of my live stream, I haven't streamed for an entire year, maybe even longer. I think my last stream wasn't even in this house. I think I was in my old house, my old studio. So I'll have to do this more. This was fun. We'll have to do streams in the future again. So let me know, guys, if you want to see more streams, make sure to like, maybe even share the stream after it's done. Share the video with some friends or whatever. I don't know. Okay. we're gonna be jumping in. I'm gonna just let it all go right here. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and the comment I'm reading is Nick Squatch YT. He says, favorite lightsaber fight from each trilogy. Okay, this is a good last question. Prequel trilogy. I love Duel of Fates, but Anakin vs. Obi-Wan is perfection in my brain. So I'm gonna have to give it to that one. Best lightsaber fight in original trilogy. Return of the Jedi has a really good fight. I think it's a better overall fight, but I think the extra elements that go behind the fight in Empire, I think personally I prefer Empire. But if we're talking about like, you know, the most aesthetically pleasing looking fight, then it's definitely Return of the Jedi. So yeah. And if we're talking about sequel trilogy lightsaber fights, technically Last Jedi doesn't have a lightsaber fight, but I'm going to count the throne room as part of that. I guess I can count Luke and Kylo's as part of that too. This one's not really tough. It's just like there is no like great lightsaber fight in the sequel trilogies. In the sequel trilogy, Episode 7 had one lightsaber fight pretty much. Episode 9 had 3 lightsaber fights, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, I think the coolest one is probably the one where Rey and Kylo are fighting on the one planet in Episode 9, when they're like, when he's in his ship and she is down on the ground. I don't know. She's in his ship and he's down on the ground, and they're like fighting through the Force. That's actually pretty dope. It doesn't make sense. I get that. It's kind of rough, but I think it's a different fight we've never seen before as far as the lightsaber fights go. We've always seen hey, I hit you, we fight, you know, but we never saw I sense you. We were fighting through the Force, you know. It makes me wonder if like that whole situation between them being linked to the Force, it makes me wonder if like, what if someone walked over, like if Finn was like, oh, hey, Rey, what's up? And he just got like cut in half, you know, because Kylo's blade isn't there, but they can still lock blades. So what if Kylo like couldn't see Finn and accidentally killed him? You know, like, I don't know. It's funny, the whole situation. I mean, it's funny, but it's interesting and it's weird. I think that's one of the reasons why I like it, is because it's just all these different things combined. So there you go, guys. That has been the first official Net Alliance live stream in a year. I'll be doing another one. I actually have my, I'll definitely be doing a birthday stream. My birthday is actually May 14th for people who don't know. So I will be doing another stream for my birthday. So if you want to come in, stop in, say hello. I might do another one next week. I think every Sunday I might just pop out a live stream. As long as I have someone who can watch my daughter. Like right now, my wife and I were home because of, you know, the quarantine. So my daughter's being watched and I can do more stuff like this. So that's awesome. So thank you guys for watching. Yeah, appreciate everything you guys do. It's awesome. Like this is so cool. I forgot how fun it is to do streams. Usually I'm playing a game. Like I don't know if I'd like to play games and stream. I like to just kind of just sit back and talk. But if I can figure out the game streaming thing, I might do that next time. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. You guys rock. Catch you later. Peace. All right, are we still up? We're still streaming. I know there is a way to turn this off. Probably should have figured that out before I started. Well. Oh, there it is. Okay, bye guys.